Call the meeting to order, hereby calling the planning conclave to order.
Excellent, thank you.
Agenda up.
Get ready for that black smoke.
Yeah. Chair has not been chosen. Well, I can read it up. Screen, public comments. Hearing nobody. Changes to the agenda. I think we can skip that unless anyone has anything.
No, we do.
We do
Tom's
actually.
thing?
We have three things. Yeah.
Tom's thing. We need to add Tom's note to the agenda, I guess.
Yeah. And we're supposed to elect officers before we actually go any further.
Really?
Say that again, I did not hear it well.
How the state works.
Okay,
Oh, because it's the first meeting in May?
yes, that's.
Meeting after the select board, right?
Wow.
Because they elected the new select board. All the committees, commissions and everything all have to do this in the first meeting in May.
Wow,
At least
excellent.
in Windsor, other towns could be a different date. but-
All right, so the changes to the agenda are, first, we're going to elect officers. Then we're going to discuss the timing of the meeting that Tom emailed about. Is there another?
There's a third, which
Yeah.
is the grant not being approved. So
That's based on that, yeah.
Oh, we heard back already and we heard back negatively.
that's right. So we have to discuss, we don't necessarily, that's the changes, but we don't necessarily, election of officers are first.
I mean, that was.
The other
that was
items
item
will be
right
down
there.
below. The other
We didn't get the
items
grant.
later, so.
All right, I move to adopt the changes to the agenda proposed just now in the order that they were proposed. So officers, Tom's meeting, grant, and then continue with, well, sorry, after the approval of the minutes, then we do those three, then we go to the town plan updates and continue the agenda. I move to do that.
Yes, I agree. Those are the amendments, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, it has been hereby so moved. Mike second, and everyone said aye for the record. All right. Officers, who wants to be, oh, so the conclave joke was actually accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prescient, one might say.
That's why I said it.
Oh, no. No, I was
Regardless,
just being stupid.
Think it's gonna be white smoke, but yeah, that sounds right.
Totally.
All right, and we're staying here until we have an answer.
Smoke.
Well, I'm happy to let someone else be chair if they want. I've been chair for like 5 years, so.
Have you really? Oh.
I'm interested.
And I'm definitely not, so, I don't know how.
Nope. Do we have a vice chair? Do we have a clerk?
What positions do we need? Chair, vice
Vice
chair?
chair, and essentially,
Minuteman.
but Hallie's been doing a lot of that work for us, but I don't know if we've officially had one. Do you know, Hallie?
I'm not sure. I've been doing this for 2 years.
Yeah.
And before that, it was Bob. And Bob also was very active.
Yeah, I think it's chair, vice chair. is
To
really-
answer your question, I don't know if you were in any of the meetings where Brian Porto was here. He was the vice chair.
But regardless, I think you should, or you need to elect one regardless of the amount of work of work. that-
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
And I'm guessing that Brendan doesn't want to be chair. So,
Last time he wasn't here, we made him the secretary, but I don't think he's been doing that, or note taker, so. But he's not here again.
so chair, vice chair, and
Used to be
secretary,
chair.
we don't need anything other than those.
No, we don't have any funds, so there's no treasurer, so.
Right.
A planning commission shall elect a chair and a clerk. And at its organization meeting shall adopt by majority vote of those members present and voting such other rules as it deems necessary and appropriate for the performance of its functions. That's what we have to say.
Yeah.
So chair and clerk.
Okay.
I think
We
we've done a
deem
vice chair.
we deem a vice chair important for the functions.
There we go.
It has been deemed.
Decreed,
So
but yeah.
decreed.
My last act as chair.
That's that. And for our vice chair, I would suggest, Harry, that you would be an excellent person to work. If I can't be here, then you would be here. But not only that, you have a lot of knowledge of this stuff that would be very helpful. If you so
Flattered and
choose.
honored.
If you so choose. I
There's no-
understand how you feel, because they asked me at first meeting I was here.
There's no room for debate about that. You kind of have to just say yes, I think. That's what they did to me when I became chair, literally my first meeting. I had never been to a meeting before.
Oh, that's why you did that to me, my first meeting.
Yeah, I was passing the buck. That's exactly what, yeah, it was ritualistic hazing. No, you obviously can decline if you want, but I would second Cliff's nomination of you, endorsement.
If it's just backing you up, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we work together on certain things to work with Tom, Regional Planning Commission and Hallie as needed. But for the most part, it's not a lot, but it would be good if needed be. If I am elected chair, then I wouldn't mind having you as the vice chair to fall back on for questions too.
Okay. I have no objection.
And I say we make Mike the clerk.
I decline.
Oh, no, I decline.
Oh, no, I already defined.
I declined
Before
here,
you declined.
sweating away as chair.
Can we nominate people in
That's
absentia?
'cause you- the day you got in here, you pushed Frisbee up.
But Hallie's doing the clerk's job, so what do you?
Yeah, but you need to name one.
We do need to name it.
Brendan's clerk.
Brendan's
Done.
clerk.
Done.
Okay, I agree with that.
He's
Brendan,
already clerk, so we just don't have to even tell him this.
That's what happens when you don't show up.
If Brendan declines his clerkship, I'll do it, whatever it is I'm
Oh,
doing.
he's already clear. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, no, he's clerk. He's not here. He's clerk.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's what happens.
That's
No
what happened last
pressure.
time. And he did, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So what
Pierre-
what other duties would there be? In all seriousness, just,
For clerk.
yeah, what officially what's the official word on?
You're third in line for the throne.
Yeah, that's great. I want to be as far down the line on the throne as possible. It's a little too close for me.
Not in this section. It doesn't say anything more.
Note take, yeah. Mhm.
It's usually the meeting notes and
Right,
which
yeah.
Hallie's been doing, and
But a clerk's different from a
I-
secretary, that's what I'm asking.
usually the dissemination of the agenda, Hallie's been doing too. I don't know if it's officially clerk or the chair's job. Each committee kind of does that however they do it, so.
But yeah, Bob used to do that. So
Yeah.
that was the pattern we fell into.
Right, and that seems to be working, so with Hallie doing it until such time that she doesn't feel she can work with that, but
All right, well, shall we vote on our slate of appointees?
Think so?
I don't think we need to do it individually.
Go with the slate, yeah.
We'll do the slate method. All right, all in favor of any discussion, any further discussion before we vote?
Nope.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. I will be done, but I think I get to keep the gavel for the rest of the meeting today.
that's fine.
Before,
Actually, I don't even know how that works.
actually, it might be effective immediately. Good question.
But only
Ceremonial changing of the gavel.
only if he catches the hammer on the first toss, though.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that.
All right, so we had our second item, which is Tom's
Tom's email about the forum.
about the
I
forum.
prefer the later of the dates if I need to be here, but I also don't.
I think my thought, since, he sent the email back that kind of clarified. In the beginning, the original email that was sent to him made it sound like it was a select board meeting that they were trying to do with it being notified, but
His response clearly.
but his is that it's just an open forum. So that means that, I think any one of the dates on there, as far as we're concerned, as long as it doesn't conflict with one of our regular meetings. And I don't.
I mean, none of these
think it
would.
Does, because
So
The only one-
June the 26th is one of our regular meetings. It's the last Thursday of the month. But the thing is that at what time is this forum? I tried to look for the time.
He didn't say that, I think it's up to us to determine the time. Well, not us, because I think the lead in this is the select board. From what I understood. I mean, Tom left not much information there. Did you get a better fix on that, Hallie?
Her
I
email-
was
her email gave a
kept
decent amount of detail.
day long, but not on this topic. I can check with them, and if you want, you can select June 26th. And we'll see. I don't know. So are we supposed to invite them to the planning commission meeting or?
No, it has nothing to do, it's, the request is for us to attend, somebody from, not even the whole commission, but somebody from the commission be there as representatives, preferably the whole commission, because of what they're going to be talking about. We should all be very aware of the presentation that they're going to give. But it's not a planning commission meeting. That was clear.
And
It's a
not on
public
this
forum, which I find odd. It's a public forum to get input from the public as far as the plan and the procedures of the Route 5 bridge. I'm sure they're probably going to talk about traffic flows, how they're going to handle that, and the kind of things that would affect the citizens, the people who everyday lives are here, and what they're going to do with it.
Can you scroll down, Holly? I mean, she lays out.
Yeah,
what we're
it
gonna
says
talk
it's a
about.
local
Yeah, it's
concern
down there.
meeting.
Keep going.
Take about 60 minutes.
Where are you reading?
It's in her letter.
Yeah, right there. And there is where she talks about what they're going to talk
Yeah.
about.
She said, this is where I got the select board. She says, typically we hold these meetings during a regularly scheduled select board meeting. And then Tom said, no, it's not that. I'm going, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He just basically said it's busy in the summer, and I think he was pushing back on that.
Local concerns meeting will likely take about 60 minutes. Please be advised on whether you'd like the town to hold this during a regularly scheduled meeting or if you prefer a separate special meeting. I think Tom's thinking special meeting. Planning and Development, Historical Societies, Public Works, Select Board, property owners, and anyone else you think have an interest should be represented at the meeting.
Great. We just need to pick a date. Sounds like it'll happen in the.
I think I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think we should just make sure there's nothing that, conflicts with our regular meeting, because we can't really, there's a lot of people involved in this. The select board's obviously going to have choice over us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
as the planning commission, I say, well, as long as the date doesn't conflict with one of our regular meetings, and I'm looking now to see whether June 16th would.
I couldn't because it's more than 2 weeks into the month.
Yeah, the 12th is the June meeting, right?
So, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, so I think we're good, unless we have personal things, we're probably good with any date that the select board would pick.
Yeah, I personally can't do the first three, but I could do the last three, but I don't need to be there.
I might.
I think the last thing makes sense because I don't think we have time to get it together. One of those is a regular select board meeting.
Are they on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the 25th would be it.
yeah.
There's a chance that I can't do any of these except for the last one, but schedule around me. Because I've got some work travel and a conference already planned those 2 weeks.
We'll make Brendan do it.
Okay.
He's,
He can go present on my panels in Texas and I'll stay here.
I'm assuming if it's during a regular, any one of the meetings would be recorded by Windsor on Air. So if he can't physically be there, it doesn't mean he can't go back and review it anyway. Get brought up to speed, just wouldn't be able to ask questions during the meeting. And I don't know how much time they're going to have for that if it's a 60-minute meeting.
So should I just reply to Tom right now and say, we discussed and have a preference for any of the last three, but some representative will be able to join no matter which is chosen. So whatever is best for the select board is fine.
Good.
Okay.
You're making a good clerk.
yeah, I guess I should be clerking now, right? Brendan and I are co-clerks and you're clerk in waiting.
Wow. As soon as I get deposed, I go from teaser to the TZ.
There you
How
go.
it works.
Right.
Pick my licks. All right, good work. Okay, grants was declined. Did they give us any specific feedback?
Yeah, basically, I think because we got it on the last day, that it was a first come, first get grant.
Oh.
And it said basically we had, it was 1.5 million in requests for available funds of 1 million.
It is a scored grant. It's not first come, first served,
It's
but
not?
they did get way more applications than they had.
Imply that the way what came back from Tom, but that's okay. That could be me
Yeah.
misreading it.
Well, either way, it could be both scored and first come, first served.
It really doesn't matter because we didn't get it.
So I think I sent Tom an email asking why and what was the reason, because if there are any missing items and we need to work to improve them. He didn't receive anything from them specifically, but he's assuming that because we're in a better situation than other towns, probably that's the one, and we have already a housing project in the town that is under progress. He said also we received an email from Jason that it's possible that local zoning administration may be inconsistent. This is the language from the email. It is possible that local zoning administration may be inconsistent with the new state requirements that supersedes the local zoning. As such, it is a good idea to do at least the bare minimum updates soon to be consistent. So we will need to work on the zoning bylaw, which they are actually doing, even if it's minor, and then apply next year. So we don't receive any like justifications why it was declined, but these are the general assumptions. I'm not sure how accurate they are.
So Mark is offering to do some minimal work on the bylaw just out of their own pocket? Is that?
It's not out of their pocket. I think the town is paying them, but I don't know where the money is from, but I think that's a topic to discuss with Tom. He's aware of
Okay.
this process. Yeah.
But either way, they're planning on doing some stuff with the bylaw. Just
This
before
was the intention, actually, that they do the update instead of hiring the consultant.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, since after this meeting, I'll be chair, I will get an appointment with Tom and sit down and try to clarify all of this and get the plan rolling again. I would assume they're still working on it and they haven't just screeched to a halt, but the question is how much the town would need to pay for it. They came up with a dollar amount to apply for. The grant doesn't necessarily mean they can't do it for less for us too. So we can see if maybe we can get Ellen involved in, or whomever we need to. I'll find out from Tom, and then when I find out, I'll email everybody and let you know what I found out. And if there's any action items, we'll put it on our next meeting, but it may be still moving on. So.
All right.
We could just do it ourselves. It's in a very targeted way, just dealing with Act 47 and 181 compliance. It's not so much that we
Yeah.
could just redline it in.
Yeah, that wouldn't be that bad. I mean, we did that for.
As long as we don't get into scope creep and start just like,
Right.
fixing every little thing that we see that could be different. I mean,
They have everything, the boilerplate ready to go. We had talked about that, doing basically just inserting the boilerplate from it, and they have all the stuff they need. That can't cost a whole lot for them to just go ahead and do that. But if we have to, we have to. I prefer not to. I think it's best to have them do it. But then again, you have more experts than chiefs in this field. You keep talking, we're gonna make you write it.
Well, it's not rocket science. I mean,
No, I know.
Honestly, we could just have ChatGPT do it.
Yeah, okay. So what do you think, Holly?
Not sure. I think we should discuss this more with Tom.
Yep.
And see what we can do, but yeah. For the purpose of like choosing Mark, because the price they ask is actually less than what any consultant could take. And they are aware of the zoning bylaws because before I joined the town and before even Ryan joined, Mark, they were doing the zoning, actually. They were processing the permits. So I think they are in a good position to do it because they are aware of the regulations that we have and our intentions to improve it or the areas that we need to work on.
Okay.
But yeah, they will always need our guidance because, for example, the girl who was processing, sorry, the permits, she left, and now Erin is the one who will handle that. So let's see how it will end up. I don't know what's the next step. But yeah, we need to discuss that with Tom.
Okay.
well, I mean, it sounds like if we want Mark, it has to be something that Tom and or the select board has money to dedicate to. Otherwise, you know,
Mhm.
Right.
Right, and that comes down to how much?
right.
Now
There
the
are
grant,
funds.
sorry, the grant will open at the beginning of the next fiscal year, or I remember it was like by the end of this year, right? Doesn't have to do with the fiscal year.
It was actually delayed this year, so this is much later than it normally happens in the fiscal year. So the next one's going to be like fall. So they'll probably put out the information in October.
Right, this year, 2025.
Yes.
Yeah, so we won't miss much. Probably we can work more on the application and apply again.
That's true. That's right around the corner, basically. So
Mhm.
Why was it, this is a sidebar, why was it delayed so much this year?
they were rebuilding the online grant management program that the state has. So they were waiting until the new one was live to
Makes sense.
have the application. But it was like it's normally on like a you apply in November, you find out in December type thing. And instead this year it was like you apply in March, find out in April.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, and all we're asking Mark to do is get us to the minimum where we need to be to, be in
Can't-
compliance in case somebody does want to go for some of the other grants that are out there, as it is. They wouldn't be able to do it until we get the minimum compliance. So that seems to be a good plan. I guess, I'll get in touch with Tom and Holly. I don't know, maybe we can even get a meeting between the three of us.
Yeah. Happy
And
to
then we'll figure out what's going on with it. And then
Yeah.
whatever comes out of the meeting, we'll determine whatever we're gonna do.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Just let me know if you want. Yeah, you can reach out to him. I'm available all the time. So unless I have another meeting, then I'm doing the work.
Yeah, we'll do an email chain and coordinate and figure it out.
Okay.
All right, that brings us to other business.
Where are you going? We're in approval of prayer
I was gonna
minutes.
say, wait a minute, forgot the minutes. We have to
Oh,
approve
the minutes. You haven't done the minutes yet.
Oh,
No.
Oh my
we're in
gosh, this is
item
this is the latest we've ever done the minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh geez, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the April minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Who
Aye.
seconded? Harry?
Henry seconded it.
It's Harry.
Harry, yes.
Harry also seconded it.
All right.
Thirded it.
So the next time Cliff's signature will be on the meeting, the minutes? Like when will the chair be changed officially?
Starting,
Officially, it's supposed to be tonight, but we're just kind of winging it.
oh,
Doesn't
well,
matter.
if it, you can put Cliff down there tonight,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, but this is for April. You were the chair.
Oh, yeah, I was the chair then, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he-
I was not at the meeting,
Right, he should approve the April meeting.
You can
even though I
always
wasn't here.
like
in absentia, I was,
do the recording. No
I'm,
excuse.
no excuse.
Alex, you know the saying, don't read it, just sign it.
Okay. All right, consider it done.
All right.
But I have yet, wait, I'm supposed to sign the minutes?
Is this the first time you've
I
done?
will need to check the bylaws on that, but I
I'm gonna
actually
have to spend all next week signing 5 years of minutes.
Yeah.
not sure if that's a requirement, but I'll let you know.
Oh.
Mhm.
Got up just in time. All right, well, now we're on to other business. Unless we have any other things to discuss about the town plan.
Well, I did do work. Did you guys?
Yes, so I started
See what you
with
did?
the introduction.
Yeah,
I
great.
just want
saw that
you
text.
to have like enough time to read through it while I'm changing the language. Cliff, thank you for the notes you sent. I'll also include lots of images, photos in this section. And I asked Tom if we have any photo library, and he shared some good stuff in here. So we have here for the buildings, we have here this flooding. I don't know which year was this, but it's amazing.
I think that's, it might have been before the 1925 one.
Yeah, it's black and
20.
white. But look at that. This is
I have
the-
some more pictures that Bob had given.
That could have been from last summer. It's just black and white.
Yeah, so
Right.
maybe
Kinda
if
looks the
some
same.
of,
Absolutely.
yeah, of the buildings here, they improve the situation, maybe we can take more photos and add them to the library, because for the housing, for example, we need to give some examples. This one will be replaced, and you know that we're now posting the permit because you know, they will replace it with a new one. This is at National Street, 15 National Street and 29 National Street. We are removing the old houses, and the town will build 2 units there. I have some good stuff, but yeah, I prefer to have some buildings with historical significance, you know.
Those are the houses that Blanchard's proposing, right? The ones you were talking about in National? Or is that a different spot?
Which
The
the
Blanchard-
national,
Blanchard Construction was talking about building a couple of houses over down in that area. I thought it was by Goodyear, but maybe it's a National, that part of it, that are gonna be raised.
He's doing that for the town. He's bringing 2 prefabricated small homes, and he's replacing, he will demolish the existing one and add 2 units, one in 15 and the other one in 29. I don't know, I think we're still in the appeal period, so you should see the permit posted in front of the 2 properties. We cannot do anything until the appeal period is finished.
Who's doing the prefabrication? What company?
Yes, they shared. Let me look into that. We have the catalog. I don't know. They will bring it, I think, from Pennsylvania, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. Can't remember the name.
That's okay. Because I heard Vermont was closing down, and I was just curious if it was Vermont.
No, it's much cheaper, by the way, to bring it from there. So
I think it might be the one in Claremont. It used to be CSI, but it's not now. Yeah,
Unity, yeah.
I think that who Tom mentioned, but he talked about it so much of it. I don't remember it. But Greg Blanchard is the one that's actually doing that.
Site work.
Yes, so Alex, last time I just discussed with the committee the general structure, how we're going to structure the whole document and orient it towards the statutes, include the statutes within the text. And so I gave an example for the housing chapter. You will see it in red. Everything is with tracking changes, so it's easy to distinguish the old from the new one. And for the introduction, the alignment actually, it's relying on 4 pillars: the purpose of the town plan, the planning process, and community engagement. And you will see these in like subtitles here with some text. And then Windsor planning vision. What's our planning vision? We should clear that in clear statements. And how to use this town plan. It's like a guidance. The theme is, as we agreed last time, it's goal driven and the life cycle structure. I explained the Putney town plan and Rockingham town plan last time, and we agreed to have it like a hybrid model between the two, like strong with visualization, but actually relying on main pillars, the same theme for each chapter, and we do the narrative with the same structure, let's say, or similar language when we explain it. So for all the chapters, including the introduction, I try to explain the current condition, vision and objectives, the policy and action framework and map and analysis. We will include that. So I try to explain that in the introduction. And with this, with what I added, we actually meet the state statute here in section 4382, which is what's the plan for the municipality. Everything should be aligned based on all these points. So when I was working with Wethersfield, they actually, for the introduction, they copied this part and added it to the document. We don't want to do that, but we want to cover all aspects. The whole town plan should be structured based on these 11 points, 12 actually points. Okay, so, and it's important to include that because this is actually what they do when they evaluate our situation, if we're meeting the statutes and we're qualifying for grants or not. It's even the checklist that Mark uses to evaluate any town plan. It's based on this section of the bylaws. The other one is 4302. It's the purpose and goal. What's the purpose of this town plan? What's our vision? What's the goal? And 4350, I guess it's review and consultation regarding municipal plan efforts. So it's important also to focus on community engagement. That is a very important part. And not only at the end, also through developing and changing. So we might need to do a workshop after a few months and gain some feedback or we come up with a topic or any vision, any plan, and we discuss it with the public. Yeah, so if it's possible, like the community forum, lots of things we can include it to cover this area. Don't have lots of things in mind now, but we can work on that in the future. I also explained the historical significance and the buildings. I try to emphasize that. The old plan, I think Bob, he just included a letter, and a historical letter. But I was like wondering if we have like some historical or archived letters, anything that was published in the newspaper like 100 years ago, 150 years ago. Do we have anything from that agreement that was signed in 1771? I know that these are very valuable stuff, and probably if there are,
Mike's
it's
the historical society guy,
So what you're asking for
like records from the paper of the,
Constitution House?
yeah,
Like
of the signing of
the
the,
state would probably have that. We don't, there's nothing like that here from like the actual
Yeah.
signing or like the actual, you're talking about
I
like,
mean, there are no digital copies of that because this is the value for the town. It's where the whole state started and a very important political event happened. So I think there must be something online. I'll look into that more deeply. But if you know anything, let's
yeah,
say
the
something.
Vermont Historical Society. I mean, there's other things that are here. It's just not directly related to like the signing or the Constitution House. We don't, but the Vermont Historical Society would have things like that.
I am generally in favor of town plans erring on the side of lean and mean and short, and not including too much narrative and context. I don't think it needs to be a historical book report. I mean, that's not really.
Yes, I agree. Actually, we agreed on that, but I didn't add much. Okay, I'm a PhD student.
Oh, okay.
I'm used to writing and reading, but that's not much.
I think when it comes to something like that, there is a website, historicsites.vermont.gov/constitution-house, that has a plethora of information there that I lean more in the direction of the town plan of saying at that site, and I found another one when I was looking through for some of the comments that I put in. But there's some things out there, and I think it's appropriate that we just put links into it, and not copy the narrative into the town plan, but give some sources of where they can find more information about the history would, to me, make a lot more sense than trying to billow this thing up to 130 pages.
Yeah, I'm in
because
favor
not
of-
interested in that.
I'm in favor of visuals for sure,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
taking advantage of the fact that this thing is, most people are reading this as a PDF, so you can have links and stuff like that. That would all be great, but yeah, not at the expense of having it balloon to longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, it is significant. The Constitution House is the most significant thing for Windsor, being historically establishing the state of Vermont. And so I think that one thing does require some time. And I think the other thing that you did mention, Hallie, that maybe we should have some more links and a little bit of information about is the Precision Museum. Because again, that is a nationally significant thing, the fact that, the Union kind of figured out how to be able to make parts that fit in all the rifles. That kind of helped with the war a little bit. So those are the two major historical contributions that I think absolutely should be in it, but we don't need to write the history. I think we need to give us, like you're saying, just a little snippet and a direction as to where to find it.
Yeah. Okay. So the visualization is something that we will need to work on. But I'm not sure if I have the right, programs to do that, because normally it's done with InDesign, and I'm using like Adobe PDF and like Word documents. So we don't want only to have it. If you're thinking to have something like Putney, similar to this one, I think I included that in the past meeting. Not sure which meeting was. Okay, I don't have it here. Probably it's on the other laptop. But yeah, it's like a brochure, like a magazine. It's nice. They put a photo on one side and then they list everything, certain points on the other side. It's nice, but we don't want to have it that simple because there is a risk to lose a lot of information that might qualify us into grants. Okay. Visualization is very important. We can enhance that and improve it, but also not covering a lot of areas. And this is what the purpose, actually. I'm aligning it into the statutes. And even here, in the comments that I added the first time, you will see exactly what's missing, how we align that with the statutes. Also, I explained the Rockingham town plan. It's very strong, but it's very like text oriented. We don't want that. We don't want to have a document like only to read. This is the hybrid model that we're talking about. We want to merge both. And so we're still in the early stages and we still have like 2 years. We might, I don't know if we have funding to get someone to do the design, but if not, I'm able to do that. So design is my thing.
Okay.
I have the knowledge to use Photoshop and such stuff. But normally these things, it's done with InDesign and other programs. That's all. Whenever you have time, just read through it. Any areas that needs improvement, if I missed any statues, so that would be great if you just send me the document with a note, or your note, just copy and paste the text in the email. What's next? I'll continue to work on it. I'll try to include some photos.
Hallie, I wouldn't worry about that photo side so much. My process, for instance, when I'm doing websites, the photos and all that, depending on the type of project, they may be the first thing, and then you run the dialogue around them. But in this case, I think what we need to do is we need to get it all laid out, get the dialogue, the boring stuff for us to have, and before we present it, we illustrate these things by using photos that are directly coordinating and correlated with what we're talking about. Just,
Yeah, we don't want to send
images for the sake of images, lifestyle viewpoint kind of
Right.
things. I'm not, a couple of them are there is good to get the tone set in the beginning of it, but after that, the images should be illustrative of what we mean with the text that's there. For instance, when we're talking about infill, that we have some pictures maybe of a good example of an infill that was done. So that everything just ties directly. So my feeling is we should get all the nuts and bolts put together, and then at the end of the project, the last year section of it is when we should be really focusing graphically.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to send you on a wild goose chase looking for images for something that, may just end up being cut later.
Or we find we could use it, like I was saying, a good infill project. So we go out and walk around town, find some good examples and take some pictures, and make instead of trying to make the pictures fit what we're doing, we decide what kind of picture we need and then find it. That approach, I think, might be better. I think it's the boilerplate we need to get done, because we can do our first kind of presentation with the select board and all of that to get the boilerplate going and see if there's anything we're missing that they would want to add to it, and get town comments, and then do the next meeting with the whole thing graphically done, saying, here's what it looks like, folks. Because we're supposed to be, is it 2 or 3 meetings? I think it was a minimum of 2, but it might have been a minimum of 3 that we have to do for this, right?
You mean hearings or public forums?
Public forums.
It's not a requirement, but I think the public engagement is a requirement, but how we do that, even if we invite the people to our regular meetings to discuss this or like discuss the downtown while we progress with them, this is public engagement. We could do a forum probably, but let's just work more on the town plan, have a solid ground, and then we move on with the public outreach. But there isn't any requirement for 1 or 2 or 3 public forums. But for the public hearings, after we're done with this and before we move it to the select board, we should hold at least 1 public meeting. Okay. But that's completely a different process. It's time sensitive. We should at least keep 6 to 8 months for that process alone. So the timeline for the work or the progress, it actually counts that, because if we're done by mid or end of next year, we'll have enough time because it expires in 2027. So we still have time, 2 years. When does the downtown plan expires? 2019, yeah, so 8 years, November and 2027.
Yeah.
Yeah, still have time. So we have this year until December, and next year, if we finalize everything by December 2026, we'll have enough time for the public hearings and everything else. So
Sounds good to me.
yeah. So when I first added, the table of contents, I haven't changed that. The first thing I shared with you is actually the one we have it. I'm just adding some extra subtopics for each chapter. So you'll have it. The first one, the introduction. The other one is the housing, probably. It's the same order.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here for the last meeting, but I do like the thematic organization that you suggested, that like the smart growth and future land use housing for all, resilient local economy. I think that's an interesting way of doing it.
It's the things actually that the state is focusing on. It's
Right.
The whole planning approach in the state at the moment is focusing on smart and inclusive growth. Flooding resilience, community resilience, these are all important things. But resilience is it's not an easy thing to achieve, right? So we'll try to include that in all the chapters and in all development areas. And that's it.
So you want us to send you comments as
Yeah,
you
if you have
continue to-
any comments, just send it over whenever you have the time. We still have another month to go to another chapter. So if you have anything for this chapter and you want to discuss this further, adjust any sections, add, remove. If you think it's a lot of talking, we can adjust that. So let's finalize it part by part. And once we're done with something, only we go back for refinement. This way we'll finish it with like a strict schedule timeline and we'll be on track.
Great. That's our homework. All right. That brings us to other business. I know I tried to jump the gun there. We covered so much business. I highly doubt there's any other business, but if there is, speak up. All right, start the white smoke. It's been an honor serving you. Mike, do you want to move to adjourn?
Sure. I will move to adjourn. 7:53 PM.
Seconded.
Technically, you don't have to do
I
that.
was gonna say, do we have to?
You don't need a movement. The chair just adjourns the meeting.
All this time. I've just
Scarred from, so I didn't say anything.
scarred from various people correcting my Robert's rules. I over-indexed towards allowing seconds.
I thought we used Ralph's rules of order.
Yeah. We basically, it's Robert's rules of chaos.
Yeah.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye. I'll just stop the recording.
Yeah, so we can talk freely.
Yeah,
Yeah, just give me a second.
so we can talk about Brendan. His back.
Do you pronounce your name Holly, or Haley?
So it's Hallie May. So it's half of my name, my Arabic name.
Oh, okay.
And it's
Hallie.
actually not Hallie, it's Hallie May. Hallie. It's like
Okay.
when you drink something fresh and you say, it's that sound.
Hallie May.
Yeah,
Hallie.
perfect. So it's Hallie.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'll try to tune in on that.
Right, perfect. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.